Very good evening and many thanks indeed for joining us here on TV47 Prime. My name is Debarl Inea. I trust that you had a lovely day, of course an intense day in Parliament, where at the moment they are debating the finance bill and making sure they're voting. Actually, they have debated during the day, so we'll take the first hurdle of going through the necessary steps. The first, of course, and the second hurdle before it is ascended to by the President. And this is what we want to look into right now. And I just want to say, joining me on the sign language desk as well is Catherine Simaloy. Now, the National Assembly is at this moment, as I've mentioned, voting on whether to send the Finance Bill 2026 to its third and final reading. And the last hurdle before the legislation is presented to President William Ruto for assent and becomes law. Let's now cross over and have a look at what is happening live in Parliament.
Is this Honorable Nyamita or who is this? Is it Nyamita? Honorable Nyamita, you're out of order.
Right, it looks like it's a slow burn in the National Assembly right now. Probably they're now counting the votes. Then we should be knowing what is the fate of the bill. Does it move forward? Yes, to the third reading as it is, of course, to be assented to by the President. But still, turning our eyes on the National Assembly, the battle over the Finance Bill 2026 has reached a defining moment, with members of Parliament voting on the controversial legislation amid growing political divisions. Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua has directed MPs allied to his party to reject the bill and force a recorded vote, arguing that Kenyans deserve to know how every legislator votes. As the opposition rallies against what it terms punitive taxation, the government insists the bill introduces no new taxes and is necessary to support economic growth. Our political reporter, Mike Agwongo, has more on the high-stakes political showdown unfolding in Parliament.
As many of the opposition say nay. Ayes have it.
The Finance Bill 2026 Thursday afternoon entered its final and most consequential stage, with lawmakers taking positions that could shape Kenya's economic and political direction in the months ahead.
His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua.
Leading the charge against the bill was Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua, who instructed all DStv-affiliated members of Parliament to vote against the legislation and remain in the House to force a division vote, ensuring every MP's position is publicly recorded.
I have directed all members of the National Assembly aligned to our party to be present in Parliament to force a division so that there can be a physical vote, so that Kenyans can know who has voted for the finance bill and who has voted against the finance bill.
Gachagua argued that ordinary Kenyans are already struggling with a high cost of living and that additional tax measures targeting digital transactions and financial payment risk placing further pressure on households and small businesses.
I have seen Ruto-allied MPs from the Mount Kenya region absenting themselves because they want to please Ruto and they want to please the people. There is no neutral position in this matter. You are either with the people or with Ruto.
The former deputy president also questioned the government's revenue projections, citing repeated shortfalls in tax collection, while calling for cuts in government's expenditure, including spending on travel and consultancies, before introducing any new financial burdens on citizens.
William Ruto amepanga kuiba 6.2 billion through confidential expenditure. That is money that will be drawn in cash. It's only remaining 12 days. Huyu Soprano ameweka 200 million. So 200 million divided by 12 days.
I was just trying to massage your ego, Chairman, but
I
it's
don't
okay.
have ego at all.
His position found support among sections of the opposition. Kiambu Senator Karongo Wathangwa publicly opposed provisions affecting locally assembled mobile phones and electric motorbikes, warning they could undermine local manufacturing and job creation.
Chairman, let me just inform you, please.
Embakasi East MP Babu Owino also criticized proposed tax measures, saying taxation should raise revenue without punishing citizens.
When the Chairman Finance Committee is stating that taxes will be increased from 10 to 40, at that rate, it means that the consumers in Kenya are going to be hurt more.
The opposition's resistance comes against the backdrop of memories of the Finance Bill of 2024, which triggered nationwide Gen Z-led protest and forced the withdrawal of the legislation following widespread public pressure. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, Bill introduces new taxes and is, of course, we want to cross over, to JKA Serga, where Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir has dismissed media reports alleging that the planned modernization and expansion of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKA, will cost 375 billion shillings, while emphasizing transparency in the contractor selection process.
Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir has confirmed that the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport expansion project is estimated to cost about 154.2 billion shillings, saying the government does not expect the final contract price to exceed that figure.
The government does not anticipate the contract award to exceed 154.2 billion. And I say that because we are yet to finalize the details into the contract, and I think it is good at this point to say so there is no contract which has been signed.
The CS has also dismissed speculation linking Zimbabwean businessman Wicknell Chivayo to the project, stating that he is not mentioned in any government documents and is not participating either individually or in partnership with any bidders.
We don't know this gentleman. I saw him for the first time in the media myself. He is not in any of our documentations, be it as a bidder or as a partner to any of the bidders.
Chirchir said the procurement process was conducted through open international competitive bidding to ensure fair opportunity for both local and international firms, with Sino Hydro and CRBC emerging as top bidders.
The government wishes to assure the public that every stage of this procurement has been undertaken fairly, transparently, and in strict compliance with the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act and all applicable procurement regulations.
According to the plan, JKIA's passenger capacity will be increased from 7.5 million to 22 million annually. The existing terminal will be expanded to handle 12 million passengers, while a new terminal will accommodate another 10 million. The project is expected to take about 3 years to complete.
The current terminal will be expanded from 7.5 million passenger capacity current to 12 million, and the new terminal will handle 10 million passengers per year.
The Transport CS explained that the airport master plan was developed over a year through technical planning and stakeholder consultations, followed by a detailed design covering airfield improvements, terminal renovations, and new infrastructure.
These deliverables transformed the project from a long-term vision into an implementable program and provided the government with a clear, technical, robust basis for undertaking the current procurement.
He said the JKI expansion is a carefully planned and transparently procured project aimed at expanding Kenya's aviation capacity and positioning the airport as a modern regional hub. Joash Onsare, TV47.
All right, many thanks, Josh, there. Let's turn the crack now to matters health, where HIV infection rates in the country have dropped from 4.3 to 3.2%. A comparative analysis of new HIV infections between 2021 and 2026 shows that adolescents and young persons aged 15 to 24 recorded the greatest decline, reducing new infections by 61.5%. Elizabeth Etieno has more.
In 2026, Kenya reported 13,936 new HIV infections, with 10,540 cases recorded among people aged 15 years and above, while 3,396 cases were reported among children aged 0 to 14 years.
Whereas 65% of the people who are living with HIV today are women, the death rates between women and men are almost 50-50. That means we are losing more men. We are not keeping them surviving for long. They are dropping off treatment, and thus they are dying more than women.
In 2025, 61% of people living with HIV were reported in 10 counties, including Nairobi, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Siaya, and Migori.
The Kenya is in the driving seat of making sure that people who are on treatment remain on treatment, people who are negative are tested and put on prevention measures, including the newly launched lenacapavir.
Although HIV infection rates have declined among youth aged 15 to 24 from 11,229 cases in 2021 to 4,322 cases in 2026, children, adolescents, and young people still account for 55% of all new HIV infections.
62% occurred among young people and young adults aged between 15 and 39, 62%. So we know which cohort we should be speaking to.
The rate of mother-to-child transmission of HIV has also declined from 9.3% in 2024 to 8% in 2026. However, this remains slightly above the global target of less than 5%.
We are having 24% of the new infections which occurred in the year 2025 being attributed to mother-to-child transmission, vertical transmission of the virus.
Kisumu County recorded a decline in HIV prevalence from 23% in 2019 to 11% in 2025, compared to the national average of 3.2%. Nyeri County has a prevalence rate of 2.4%, while Lamu and Murang'a counties each have a prevalence rate of 1.5%.
We want to urge our counties, and I've seen the DGs who are here, that let's ensure that the budgets for health in the counties are ring-fenced.
Amid dwindling donor support, health stakeholders have called for increased resources to help prevent the spread of HIV across the country.
The days of huge development assistance for health resources are gone. They are no longer going to come. So we, as African countries, have to now take full responsibility for our own health responses.
The report was released during the launch of the 47 county syndemic operational plans by the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, NSDCC. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Staying with the health beat, the health sector could face disruptions in service delivery if the government fails to address the demands of universal health coverage, UHC workers, who are calling for permanent employment. On Thursday, UHC workers staged peaceful demonstrations in Nairobi to pressure the government into offering them permanent jobs.
Health workers under the Universal Health Coverage Program today staged peaceful demonstrations in Nairobi, demanding permanent and pensionable employment from the government. The protesters expressed frustrations over delays in securing permanent employment, accusing the government of repeatedly failing to honor its promises. Among their key demands are immediate absorption into permanent and pensionable employment before their contracts expire, payment of pending gratuities, and an end to alleged discrimination between them and other health sector workers.
One of our enemies are the Council of Governors. Tunasikizana? The greatest enemies to the UHC are the Council of what? Governors.
Our demands is that we want absorption letters to be issued immediately.
The demonstrations began at Green Park Terminus before proceeding to Afya House and later to Parliament, with protesters carrying placards and chanting slogans in demand of their rights.
The position of the ministry is the position of the unions. Yes. For now, the most important thing is P and P. Say P and P. P and P. P and P.
Pesa ziko, miradi zinaendelea, mambo yanafanyika. Je, sisi tuko wapi?
This time round, we are not going to joke with anybody. We are not going to joke with anybody. Chenye tunataka ni PNP na hakuna kitu ingine yenye tunataka.
This, as Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale said, the government has already set aside 8.94 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year budget to facilitate the employment of UHC workers.
So from where we sit, myself and PS Oluga, all the 7,789 staff will be transited into permanent and pensionable terms.
Additionally, stakeholders have emphasized the need for clear and consistent employment policies within the health sector to prevent recurring labor disputes.
Now, nearly 8 months after Catholic nun's sister, Anselima Karimi was found murdered under mysterious circumstances, family, friends and members of a clergy gathered in Meru County to bid her farewell as she was laid to rest. Renewed calls for justice echoed throughout the burial ceremony, with mourners demanding answers over her unresolved death. Sheila Chelangat has more.
8 months, 6 days after she was found murdered, Sister Anselima Karimi's earthly journey finally came to an end today at the Catholic Cemetery for Nuns and Priests in Kabune, Meru County.
Whoever did this to our mom, please, whatever you needed from her, was it really equal to her life? Was it?
Her burial had earlier been delayed following court proceedings as authorities sought to preserve crucial evidence surrounding the cause of her death.
If it's not sister, I could not be a clinical officer. And neither could I be able even to save her from the hands of her murderers, even when maybe she needed the emergency services, because I was not around.
And even as investigations into the murder continue, still questions surrounding her death remain unanswered, prompting calls for justice.
We need answers to who was behind what happened to our sister. Anybody who takes another person's life, they'll never know peace.
We are not sure why they did it, and whatever they were wanting to get, they would have asked and been given. So we pray that these people may get their peace only when justice is done.
Caroline Kanjiru, a fellow nun who had initially been arrested as the prime suspect, was later released from custody after court found no direct evidence linking her to the murder. She has subsequently turned into a state witness and is expected to assist investigators in efforts to unravel the circumstances surrounding Sister Karimi's death. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
All right, just to give you a tender reminder, we're doggedly following what is happening in Parliament currently, and it seems they're adjourning. Let's just listen into what happened earlier before they're streaming out of the chambers right now. We can see the Sergeant of Arms. Let's just listen into the audio. All right, they seem to be streaming out of the chambers as it is right now. We'll give you full details of how that really panned out momentarily. But in the meantime, the opposition has suffered a setback in the National Assembly after Speaker Moses Wetangula rejected a series of amendments to the Finance Bill 2026 proposed by opposition members of Parliament, citing a non-compliance with constitutional requirements and the Public Finance Management Framework. However, opposition MPs mounted a spirited fight over several clauses they had intended to amend, insisting that some provisions were punitive and should be removed. They argued that the bill imposes undue pressure on citizens. Pro-government MPs, however, maintained that the bill is designed with the interest of quote-unquote Mwananchi at heart, insisting that no new taxes have been introduced.
A heated debate erupted in the National Assembly as pro-government lawmakers and the opposition went head-to-head during the Committee of the Whole House stage of the Finance Bill 2026, with opposition members expressing outrage after Speaker Moses Wetangula ruled out a series of their proposed amendments. Wetangula ruled that the contested proposals would not be considered during the Committee of the Whole House stage, stating that they failed to comply with Article 114, Section 2 of the Constitution and provisions of the Public Finance Management Act governing money bills, which requires prior engagement with the National Treasury.
Honourable members, the bill will therefore proceed without referring to the proposed amendments and will be considered as though the amendments have been withdrawn. The House is accordingly guided.
Amendments by Deputy Minority Leader Robert Mboi affecting clauses 3, 18, 19 and 22 and proposed clause 21A, and those by Embakasi West MP Mark Mwenje affecting clause 7, 17, 22 and 36A, ruling that all required prior Treasury concurrence before they could be considered.
Go to the chairperson of the committee, and if there is need, consult Treasury, so that we don't lock members from making amendments, because there is no way you can amend a bill at second reading. And that one, you know, Honorable Speaker. Okay. If that was possible, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Ndindi's comments would have gone to the bill. Correct. And I think it's better to go on record.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable.
There is absolutely no way that any member would have had the opportunity to do the consultation required. So I want to go on record that maybe in the future we ensure that we give enough time for members to be able to propose amendments, do the consultation with the committees, so that we go to committee of the House when we are all of us okay. Because right now I thought I would have been deliberating my proposals, but it looks like the law has locked me out. It isn't because we don't know the law.
The opposition members, including Kadhiani MP, had lined up a series of amendments targeting clauses they termed punitive, among them the taxation of non-resident landlords, the proposed empowerment of Kenya Revenue Authority to access third-party data, and proposed levies on digital card transactions.
This particular amendment is not only unconstitutional, it's unreasonable, it's untenable, it doesn't apply. We're just applying our minds to a particular scenario. And I want to tell you this, as a person who has been around, tomorrow most of us will be out of power and you'll be the first victim. And therefore I oppose this in totality.
We have put a law in place that says that petitions, electoral petitions should be concluded in 6 months. Let us bring a law here that says tax matters should be concluded in court within a year, so that everyone can get a fair hearing. Otherwise, today I am in power, tomorrow I'll be out of it. I don't want to be used against me. If Munyoro gets power, what will happen to me?
What you are being told here is that you will make payment, and after 90 days, if you are successful, you get your money back. Unlike now, what is the problem?
Thank you.
Sema eti KRA ipewe mamlaka na nguvu. KRA tayari inafinya mtu kabisa na kukamua. Ikipewa mamlaka zaidi, itaitumia vibaya. Wacha sheria itumiwe vile ambavyo inafaa.
Debate grew particularly tense over the use of language on the floor, with opposition MPs calling for fairness in proceedings as timbers flared.
Munyoro group is here.
Okay, go ahead.
Nowadays I am the caretaker.
Go ahead.
Chair, I am the caretaker of Munyoro group in parliament. They sit behind me. I am the caretaker of Munyoro group in parliament. That's the truth.
Is it in order for my leader, the minority leader, to refer to some members of this honorable house, honorable members, giving them a funny name, honorable speaker, by calling them Munyoro group? Is that fair, honorable speaker? Is that fair? And can he withdraw and apologize, honorable speaker?
Government lawmakers dismissing claims that the bill contains punitive taxes, insisting that no new taxes would be introduced, and pointing to the extensive public participation process that shaped the Finance Committee's amendments, including the removal of the proposed 25% excise duty on mobile phones and preservation of zero-rated VAT for locally assembled devices and electric motorbikes. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Right, interesting, of course, intrigues there in the National Assembly as you saw it. And as we were eagerly awaiting to see what would have been the outcome from the National Assembly, they've now taken time to adjourn. That will be on the 23rd. And we had two bills on the floor of the House today. That is the appropriation bill, which we seek to know if also it will make it to the final end. And of course, the final finance bill, which is a very, very ticklish issue that has been on the floor. As we saw it, a very intense debate around it as well. So we'll be keeping our eyes peeled on this particular two bills that they're waiting the final stage before they head to the president for assent, and they will be adjourning on the 23rd, just to remind you. But we want to take a short break right now. Before we do that, we have tomorrow's publication of a Star. This is what you will be waking up to on the front page of a Star tomorrow. Bang divides MPs push for change of law. Remember this? We had this particular debate also in 2022. Seme MP, that is Dr. James Chikal, however, cautions against conflating medicinal value with unrestricted use. So you have all the gritty details on page 2 of tomorrow's publication. Also still on the front page of the Star, Ruto warns Kenya, Africa will not accept exploitation. And we can see a related picture here, blue economy. President William Ruto tours Dr. Nansen, that is Fridtjof Nansen research vessel at the port of Mombasa before attending our ocean conference. And you can also get the gritty details of this inside the publication as well. On the sidebar, HIV ravages children as 14 Kenyans catch a virus, right? That is a story that you want to follow on update that is 14,000 Kenyans catch a virus. I don't know what it really stands for. You can follow the story on page 3 to get all the gritty details so that I don't mislead you. At Arsenal fever hits City as Ruto invites the Gunners. President William Ruto has invited Arsenal's football club to visit Kenya in 2027, following the extraordinary celebrations that erupted across the country after the club ended its 22-year wait for the English Premier League title. Ruto said the scale of the celebrations demonstrated the deep connection between the North London club and its Kenyan fan base. That is on the back page of the publication. And of course, Arsenal fans, they really came out in force, looking at the streets and the numbers swelled. Read all the details there. Also, storm over 18 billion shillings to be spent in 2 weeks. That is all about budget. And you can follow the story on page 4 and 5 of the publication. Remember also, tomorrow you have the Siasa Pull-Out magazine coming in handy for you. And it is all about the unflappable smile of the governor there. This is Dr. Kang'ata. Why Kang'ata? Well, Kang'ata's political gamble always pays dividend. You can read all about it inside the Star tomorrow. Also in business, JKI expansion cost set at 54.2 billion shillings as state defense procurement processes. We're running about the story here. And of course, we'll give you also gritty details on who the gentleman that the cabinet secretary was talking about, that is Chivuya. Who is he, right? And why is he mentioned adversely around JKI expansion project as well? Right, we'll take a short break. Don't go away. We'll slake our thirst.
Taasisi ya ukuzaji mitaala Kenya, KICD, inawaarifu wakuu wa shule za upili kuwa awamu ya kwanza ya usambazaji wa vitabu vya gredi ya 10 imekamilika kwa kutumia takwimu zilizotolewa awali na Wizara ya Elimu. Ili kuhakikisha kila mwanafunzi anapata kitabu kwa kila somo kwa uwiano wa kitabu kimoja kwa mwanafunzi mmoja, wakuu wa shule wanatakiwa kuwasilisha: 1. Idadi halisi ya wanafunzi wa gredi ya 10 kwa kila somo. 2. Idadi ya vitabu vilivyopokelewa kwa kila somo. Tumia kodi kupata taarifa. Pata msaada wa haraka kutumia barua pepe au simu. Mwisho wa kuwasilisha taarifa ni tarehe 19 Juni 2026. Shule ambazo tayari zimewasilisha data hazihitaji kuwasilisha tena. Serikali ya Jamhuri ya Kenya imejitolea kuhakikisha kuwa kila mwanafunzi anapata kitabu katika kila somo.
KICD. Indulge in the moment. With every spoonful of Delamere real fruit yogurt.
Do you know what's inside that prepackaged food? Those unhealthy ultra-processed foods high in sugar, salt or unhealthy fats can lead to diseases.
According to the Ministry of Health, approximately 39% of all deaths in Kenya are as a result of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure. The foods and drinks we consume every day can affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
Fanikisha, empowering women, fueling prosperity through networking, entrepreneurial training, and financial support. Start your Fanikisha journey with equity today.
Indomie mautamu, mautamu, mautamu. Indomie, furahia mlo mtamu.
Football fans, the world stops from the 11th of June to the 19th of July 2026. Watch all 104 FIFA World Cup football matches live on Azam TV. Get your Azam TV decoder today for 1,000 shillings for a decoder only, or 2,500 shillings for a decoder and a dish, and enjoy unmissable football action from the comfort of your home. Visit any Azam TV authorized dealers countrywide today or call us on 0709 844 000. Azam TV, the official broadcast partner of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Welcome back. Now, Senator Edwin Sifuna continues to hold his position as the Orange Democratic Movement Secretary General, despite a significant legal setback at the Political Parties Disputes Tribunal, PPDT, today. Although the PPDT dismissed Sifuna's application and vacated interim orders that had protected him from removal, the ruling only allows internal disciplinary proceedings to resume. It does not enforce an immediate ouster. The tribunal also barred the party from communicating or implementing any final decision, I should say, until further legal processes are concluded.
Wacha tusikie sauti ya Lurambi. Lurambi hoye!
Now, a legal showdown is unfolding in Kenya over the future of the country's largest telecom operator, Safaricom. Opposition leaders have moved to the Court of Appeal to block a multi-billion shilling state share sale to Vodacom Group. The petitioners argue that the transaction is opaque and that the asset is severely undervalued.
Judge, senior counsel, there must have been an exercise of discretion on the part of the court that determined that there were sufficient grounds for them to grant a conservatory order. And we know the jurisprudence around discretion. I haven't seen that you have addressed us on whether there was proper or improper exercise of discretion on the part of the court.
My lords, we have set that out as one of the potential grounds of appeal. That is premised on the contradictory nature, my lord, of the discretion as exercised by the High Court. My lord, on the one hand, the court recognized that this was a transaction that required multiple regulatory authorities to determine. It was a transaction that was incomplete. The court clearly recognized that. It was a transaction that would require competition authority approval, communications approval. Parliamentary approval had already been granted, and that is a ground of appeal that we have advanced.
Our 11th, that is our Ocean Conference, has officially concluded in Mombasa, marking 3 days of high-level discussions focused on accountability, international cooperation and ocean conservation. President William Ruto used the platform to highlight Kenya's role as host of Global Summit, linking it to his administration's broader blue economy agenda. He also issued a strong warning against individuals and entities he accused of spreading misinformation that could damage the country's image.
For 3 days, over 6,000 delegates across the world convened in Mombasa, engaging in intensive discussion on sustainable ocean governance with a shared focus on ensuring that marine resources continue to benefit both present and future generations.
We came to turn the tide,
let the measure of this conference not be what we pledged on the shore, but what we deliver in the waters.
The existential threat of climate change to the rapid loss of biodiversity are global in nature, so they demand global solutions and global action.
Let us embrace the belief that the harm humankind has done can be undone. And so the call to action is for humankind to put an end to the anthropogenic maladies we've been putting on the ocean's health.
Calls for deeper collaboration between developed and developing nations featured prominently, with stakeholders emphasizing that meaningful accountability remains central to addressing escalating threats facing the oceans, including pollution and illegal fishing.
Is the need for strengthening ocean observation through the Global Ocean Observing System, GOOS, and an international alliance, the Ocean Eye.
To realize the full potential, destructive practices must be reversed and finance flows redirected towards sustainable ocean investment.
Unlocking this potential requires stronger international partnerships, increased investment, technology transfer, innovation, and institutional capacity building.
President William Ruto also expressed pride in Kenya's growing profile as a host of major international conferences, describing it as evidence of the country's rising global standing, driven by ongoing government-led development initiatives.
Dunia nzima iko na heshima na ile kazi tunayofanya kama serikali na wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Ndio nazidi kuwaambia ndugu zangu wa Kenya, tujiamini bwana, tuache porojo na propaganda na fitina nyingi na matusi ambayo hayana maana.
As the curtains fall for the 11th Hour Ocean Conference, there is much optimism that by the time the 12th edition is held in Canada next year, the commitments made would have been turned to tangible actions. Quinto Wafula, TV47, Mombasa.
The government has pledged to strengthen technical and vocational education and training institutions to drive industrialization, create jobs, and equip young people with market-ready skills. The goal to position Kenya as a global hub for talent, innovation, and technical expertise. Now, speaking during the 4th International Research Conference, Skills, Competition, Innovation, Career Guidance, and Expo, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba said TVET institutions are central to Kenya's economic transformation agenda and efforts to address youth unemployment. The three-day conference brought together TVET stakeholders, government officials, and industry players.
We have resolved that we shall not be spectators in the global contest for skills. We have positioned ourselves as a supplier of talent, innovation, and practical solutions, first to our own economy and thereafter to the wider world.
We have agreed as a department that the time for looking for industries out there where our young people are going to be trained has to come to an end. We have to establish the industries within our institution, and the industry that is not in Kabete will be Nairobi National Polytechnic.
We firmly believe that research is no longer a peripheral function of learning. It is an essential pillar of institutional excellence and national development.
All right, let's buckle down to some business where Mogo has financed over 500,000 smartphones across East Africa within 14 months, driven by affordable daily, quote-unquote, lipa mdogo mdogo payment plans. The rapid expansion highlights growing regional demand for digital inclusion among low and middle-income consumers in Kenya. Strategic partnerships with major smartphones brands such as Tecno Mobile and Oppo drove 200,000 devices sales in just 9 months.
What makes Mogo different? First of all, we have a process whereby there is no human interaction. When the customer walks into the shop, they take the phone, they go home, and nobody talks to them for background checks. The customer gets the loan within 7 minutes of application and goes and enjoys their new device.
The main reason why Tecno collaborated with Mogo on the device finance is because the fintech technology is a new thing in the market, and it will give the consumer or mobile user an opportunity to buy and be able to coordinate with the world, interact with friends, family. It will improve their social life.
Now, the Anti-Counterfeit Authority, SIGNET, has announced the rollout of a digital security device to help consumers verify genuine products and curb the spread of counterfeit goods. Speaking during World Anti-Counterfeiting Day 2026 in Nairobi, SIGNET Board Chairman Nelson Gaichuhie said the system will initially cover pharmaceuticals, agro inputs, food products, cosmetics, alcoholic beverages, and automotive parts. The authority is also pursuing legal reforms to strengthen enforcement against online cross-border counterfeit trade.
And awareness creation is able to suppress the demand of counterfeit goods in our market as number one. And the other one is also to carry out raids on suspected counterfeit goods. And since the formation of this authority, we have managed to seize goods worth 400 billion Kenya shillings, and we have destroyed counterfeit goods worth 200 million Kenya shillings. And we continue doing this in order to protect the consumers and also to promote and protect the interests of the brand owners in this country and elsewhere.
The last 3 days we've been here with the product owners, and they've been training our people and the public at large on how to check on anti-counterfeit goods. They have told us the genuine ones, they showed us the marks, and for the genuine ones and the original ones. So as anti-counterfeit, we are here to support the brand owners to see to it that Kenya can become a counterfeit-free nation. So we want to say that as anti-counterfeit, working with other stakeholders, we will take care of the original owners of brands.
CFAO Mobility Kenya has launched the Toyota BZ4X, the automaker's first fully electric vehicle in the Kenyan market. The SUV offers a driving range of up to 516 kilometers, fast charging capability, and advanced safety features. Backed by an 8-year battery warranty and a nationwide after-sales network, the BZ4X strengthens Toyota's push towards carbon neutrality. The launch comes as Kenya's electric vehicle market continues to expand, with EV registration surpassing 35,000 by 2025.
The automotive sector is evolving rapidly, driven by growing cities, changing customer expectations, and increasing demand for efficiency and sustainability. Today's launch marks an important milestone, not only for Toyota, but also for the future of mobility in Kenya. The BZ4X, Toyota's first purpose-built battery vehicle, represents our commitment to delivering innovative and sustainable mobility solutions to all our customers. Its name, Beyond Zero, reflects our ambition to go beyond eliminating emissions and deliver vehicles that create broader value through safety, connectivity, performance, and driving enjoyment. This particular model that we are selling in Kenya has the longest range on a full charge. It gives you 516 kilometers on a full charge. And it achieves between 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5 seconds.
Stanbic Holdings PLC has disbursed 133 billion shillings in trade financing in 2025, surpassing its 90 billion shillings target as it accelerates sustainable finance and inclusive growth initiatives. According to its 2025 sustainability report, the bank advanced 4.5 billion shillings in green building loans, 2.5 billion shillings in climate-smart agriculture, and 1.8 billion shillings in affordable housing. Stanbic also supported women entrepreneurs with 49.5 billion shillings through its data platform and planted 204,000 trees to strengthen environmental conservation efforts.
In the last year, trade facilitation by the bank was in excess of 133 billion shillings. That's $1 billion of trade in trade finance only, just to enable that capability, supporting more than 5,750 businesses across the cross-border enterprises. So that's just one part of what you do. But behind those numbers are real businesses expanding into the markets, building new income streams, building resilience, hiring people, creating jobs. And in my view, if a business cannot move goods, access funding on time, settle their payments predictably in the markets, that growth momentum generally stalls in our markets, no matter how strong the opportunity is in the market that you operate in. And that's why trade, in my view, really matters. In the World Bank conversations, the biggest conversation is that Africa must trade more within itself, increase, and which is the ACFTA conversations, to be able to create more opportunities in our markets. And when trade works well in our markets, real growth in the economy becomes very standard.
We are deeply rooted in Africa, and we are very deliberate about how we pursue growth and build resilience. Our approach is anchored in two things: maximizing positive impact while prudently managing risk, and ensuring that the way we do business is as important as the outcomes we deliver.
Time for sports now, where Kenya's top athletes have converged at the Nyayo National Stadium for the National Athletics Championships and Commonwealth Games trials, with coveted slots to represent the country at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland, scheduled from 22nd of July to August 2nd, 2026. The three-day event has attracted Olympic medalists, world champions and emerging talents, setting the stage for fierce competition as Athletics Kenya begins the search for a team capable of extending the nation's rich athletics legacy on the international stage.
Season ya kapoa, so tuna hope tu iendelee kwa hivyo, because my prayer this year ilikuwa tu consistency manze, na ku get back to the top, of which we are there, so ni kuwa tu consistent. Issue inakuanga ku maintain. Ku get to the top sometimes is not as hard, but ku maintain hapo juu ndo inakuanga hard. But that's what tunaomba tu God atupe.
A moment ambayo tumekuwa na wait for a long time, because ina come after I think 4 years. So tumekuwa na ingoja na tumejitayarisha sana. Yeah, despite that slot ni kichache, but we'll fight for that slot.
Tunatarajia kwamba idadi ya medali zitakuja mingi. Ingawa leo tuna timu ambayo kidogo ni kwa sababu events za huko zimekuwa reduced. Hakuna marathon, hakuna 1500 meters na vitu kidogo kama hiyo.
I've tried my best. I was with the beast of Manyala, but I've tried my best and did position 3 with a time of 11:00.
If all the champions come in, from Jamaica all the way to South Africa, and of course all the way to Kenya. I've seen the Commonwealth Games over the years, and I believe it's a matter of growth. It is going to be.
Kenya's rugby development pathway has received a major boost after SportsPesa unveiled a record 34.1 million shillings sponsorship package for 2026 National Sevens Circuit. The 6-leg circuit scheduled to run from July 25th to September 13th will begin with historic Prince-Law Sevens in Nakuru before moving to Kisumu, Nairobi, Mombasa, Embu, and returning to Nairobi for the season-ending Christie Sevens. Defending champions KCB Rugby Club will be targeting a 6th overall title, but will face strong competition from rivals including Strathmore Leos, Kabras Sugar, Menengai Oilers, and Kenya Harlequin.
Work with Shujaa, and a lot of the Shujaa players were identified through the National 7th Circuit, so that's really commendable.
We can't wait for how beautiful the designs will come out. So we'll also introduce that and confirm that 5 out of the 6 will be hosting the women's leg.
Eventually, by the end of this circuit, both the players, the fans, and the key stakeholders will have a better understanding of the game through the numbers.
Because the National 7th Circuit it provides a pathway for seeing, identifying, and also just making our final selection for the national team.
We are not done yet. That's why we are here today. Another story, yeah? So basically, the point is, as SportPesa, we are part of rugby, and we'd like to assure KRU that we're going to go this journey.
And finally, Ghana began their 2026 FIFA World Cup campaign with a 1-0 victory over Panama, while England made a strong start by beating Croatia 4-2 in their Group L matches. Ghana national football team secured victory through a late stoppage time goal from Caleb Irenki, giving the Black Stars a crucial 3 points ahead a tightly contested match against Panama. In the other Group L fixture, England national football team opened their World Cup campaign in impressive fashion, defeating Croatia 4-2 to move to the top group. Ghana will next face England in a highly anticipated clash, while Panama will look to revive their qualification hopes against Croatia.
For my beauty routine.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
You won't entertain divas. No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely.
Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
All right, all of them, of course, are rooting for Team Africa, Ghana. There they go. We hope they keep on the winning streak as well. Right, before we wind up, let's just also dial back the time machine and we pick from our archives a picture. Maybe you can recognize the faces here. And there we do have, that is the late Bethel Kiplagat, who by then was the Nairobi Stock Exchange chairman, now the Nairobi Securities Exchange. That is in 2002, the 3rd of December, holding court with the then, that is the chair of the Nairobi Central District, NCBD. This is Nairobi Central Business District. This is Philip Kisio, and this was in 2002. Right, just to refresh your memory. And of course, also you may remember Bethel Kiplagat also was heading the Truth and Justice Reconciliation Commission. He was the chair there. Everyone is asking, okay, what really happened to the report? All right, thank you for your valid company. And of course, signing off, I want to appreciate Catherine Simaloy also that we've been flying with, also on the sign language desk, and have a restorative night. All right, we'll take a short break.